Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope everyone is happy and healthy. So this is our factoring test remediation. And in doing the factoring test, this is what I've noticed. The majority of you can make the T-chart. You recognize that 24 is the number to make the T-chart for. So I have created the T-charts for you in an effort to focus on what you're messing up on, which is the applying the rules for integers and then writing your factor pair. So when I'm looking at this, I want you to notice that this 24 is negative, okay? I realized something as I was preparing this, that every time you see a negative here, you're actually going to subtract your two integers. So if I were to have done the smarter thing, I would have written my integers the other way around. And then that way I can either add or subtract without any issues straight across. So if I'm thinking about it this way, I subtract 24 minus 1 is 23. 12 minus 2 is 10. 8 minus 3 is 5. And 6 minus 4 is 2. Because it has a subtraction sign, I'm subtracting the values. So I see a 2. This is going to be my pair. Not the 2, not the 24. The 6 and the 4. So I've subtracted them. I've determined that 4 and 6 are my pairs. So now I have an issue. I have to determine which one is going to be positive and which one is going to be negative. That is where I look at the B. And when I'm looking at the B is negative. That means the bigger number is going to be negative, and the other number is going to be positive. That is how we select the correct pair and write the factors. So again, because it is a negative, we're going to subtract our terms. And now I have to look, okay, here's 5. So I'm looking at 3 and 8. And when I'm looking at 3 and 8, I have to determine which one's going to be positive and which one's going to be negative. So how do I do that? I look at the B. In this case, the B is positive. So because the B is a positive, that means the bigger number is going to be positive, and then the smaller number is going to be negative. So several of you are like, but Miss, what happens if I'm adding instead of subtracting? Well, because this is a positive, I'm just going to add my terms instead of subtract them. And I've found 14 is my magic number that I combine. So I know I'm going to choose 2 and I'm going to choose 12. Now, because my B is negative, they're both going to be negative. So again, because I see a plus sign, I'm going to add. And I know my magic pair because my B matched up with my magic pair. That gives me 1 and it gives me 24. Now, because my B is negative, they're both going to be negative. Now, if you flip your paper over, you'll see they look very similar. But how do we get this 24? Well, we multiplied 3 times 8 to get 24. And when we multiplied 3 times 8, we got a negative 24. So because it's a negative 24, again, we're going to subtract. And we find our magic pair is this one. So we write our factors. And then the other piece that many of you forgot is that when we're borrowing and paybacking, so when there is a number in front of the x that is greater than 1, you have an extra step. And in this extra step, you have to divide. So we are going to divide both of our factors by the a. Now, I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, okay, 4 divided by 3. Well, 4 divided by 3 is 1.3333333333333. That's a decimal. That doesn't come out evenly. So I'm going to leave it like a fraction, but I don't really leave it like a fraction. I'm going to rewrite it. This 3 is going to slide out front. That becomes 3x plus 4. And because we've subtracted here, that's going to be 6 minus 3 is 2. So again, this is the borrow and payback side. There's an extra step when there's a factor greater than 1. So when the a is a number greater than 1, we have to remember, don't forget to divide by the a. So it is a negative, so we're going to subtract. And I've found my 5. So I know I'm going to use my 3 and my 8. Because my 5 is positive, the bigger number is going to be positive, the other one's going to be negative. Okay, now I have to remember the last step is to divide by the a. So I divide both of them by a. If I put 3 divided by 2 into the calculator, it's going to be 1.5. Therefore, 2x minus 3 and x plus 4. They are truly different factors. They are different answers. Okay, so this one is positive. So what am I going to do with my factors? I'm going to add them. I found my magic pair. And because I'm adding, they're both going to be negative. Now, I have to remember to divide by my a. So this one does simplify to 1/2. So this becomes x minus 1/2. Now, as a reminder, you can't leave it as a fraction. So this 2 is going to swing out front, and it becomes 2x minus 1. Now the other term, 12 divided by 4, does simplify to 3. So again, it's positive, so I add my terms. I recognize which one is my magic pair. Because the b is negative, they're both going to be negative. So we have x minus 1 and x minus 24. Because I've borrowed, I have to pay it back, and I have to divide by 3. This one, the 3 swings out front and becomes 3x minus 1. Here, 24 divided by 3 is 8. You should have plenty to practice finishing, If you have questions, please feel free to ask. And then we'll retake this factoring test.